Next.
Hello everyone, my name is Vivin Trivenaneno and I want to explain about technique in teaching English foreign language. Technique is a way of carrying out a particular task, especially the execution or performance of an artistic work or a scientific procedure. Teaching techniques include several sections of the example. The first is reading. Reading, which use literature aimed at children and adolescents. Youth-oriented literature offers material that is simple and provides a more conversational style than literature for adults. Children's literature in particular provides subtle cues for pronunciation, through rhymes, and other words games, for example, using books. This is a multiple pass technique. The instructor reads books, namely textbooks, containing various literature such as poetry, stories, essays, and drama. The second is communicative language teaching. Emphasizes interaction as both the means and the end goal of language learning. Despite a number of criticisms, it continues to be popular, especially in Japan, Taiwan, and Europe. In India, it had adopted this approach in its affiliate schools. The third is blended learning. It's a combination of multimedia elements with the help of computer achieved through a virtual learning environment with classroom, teacher, and peer instruction. Blended learning uses technology to provide a large amount of understandable input to its learners via video and other types of multimedia without the presence of the teacher. The last is online classroom. Advances in technology make it possible to get a teaching English foreign language qualification online. Students can enroll in online classes. There is no single comprehensive accreditation body for students to learn online. For example, now we are currently studying online. Okay, maybe that's all for me about technique in teaching English foreign language. And thank you.
Good morning, Mom. I would like to explain about method in teaching English as a foreign language. So in here, there are 12 method in teaching English as a foreign language. The first is the direct method. In this method, the teaching is done entirely in the target language. And the second, the grammar translation method. In this method, learning is largely by translation to and from the target language. Grammar rules are to be memorized and long lists of vocabulary learned by heart. And the third is audio-lingual method. In this method, the theory behind this method is that learning a language means acquiring habits. And the fourth is the structural approach. In this method see language as a complex of grammatical rules which are to be learned one at a time in a set order. And the fifth, Staggestopedia. In this method, the theory underlying this method is that a language can be acquired only when the learner is receptive and has no mental block. And the sixth, total physical response. Total physical response by having the learner response to simple command. And the eighth is immersion. In this method, students are immersed in the English language for the whole of the school day and expected to learn. And the ninth, text-based language learning. In this method, the teaching is on the completion of a act which itself is interesting to the learner. And the 10 is the lexical syllabus. In this method, this approach is based on a computer analysis of language which identifies the most common words in the language. And the 11 is the silent way. In this method, the learner can be in control of what he wants to say. No use is made of the mother tongue. And the last is community language learning. In this method, attempts are made to build strong personal links between the teachers and students so that their heads work fully. I think this is the only information about method in teaching as a foreign language. Thank you.
Hello, good morning, nice to meet you in this video. My name is Henrico Slodorehe. I'm a student at Artawacana Christian University. I took an English education study program and Faculty of Teacher Training and Education. I'm making this video because I want to explain to you about how to make approach with the student I will teach in the future. So I need to know how to make approach with the student because I will be a teacher in the future. So here 3 ways to make approach with the student. So the first one is introduction. When I being a teacher in a new school, the first one I need to do is making introduction and ask them to introduce themselves and feedback, and try to make the class fun so the student don't feel creeping in the classroom. So the second one is communicative approach. Based on the communicative approach is based on the idea that learning language successfully comes through having to communicate real meaning. For example, practicing question forms, asking learner to find out personal information about their colleges. So the last one is use of games in education process. So in the future, if I being a teacher in the future, I have to able to make learning process in games forms. So that's all my explanation about how to make approach with the student. That's all. Thanks.